Good day and welcome back to the Cancer Cipher Sharon Speaks podcast. I want to welcome you for joining this episode today. If you are new to this podcast, I welcome you and I hope that you learn something that will inspire you and encourage you. And if you are one of the listeners that's been following me throughout my journey, welcome back. So I just want everyone to feel welcome at this podcast. We cover a lot of areas concerning cancer. Specifically, my mission is to share my story and my experiences and to help people with my experiences. So it's just easygoing, a fun time to just express a heart disease. I have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and I've been living with it since June of 2021 when I was diagnosed. So I've had a lot of experiences, and I still have many more to share with you. But today, I want to focus on some areas of getting your life together. And what I mean by getting your life together is if something happens to you today, is there someone that can step in and take care of your business? Is your business in order? Are things in order so your family is not going through a lot of turmoil and stress trying to figure out what you would have wanted? So these are things that typically we don't think about when we're not ill, but these are things that we think about after we get ill and once we get really, really ill. And by that point, it's so hard to manage these things I'm going to discuss. So I would like to share them with you now. I'm just going to give you just a few things, but I want to spark it in your mind. Wow, do I have that in order? Do I have this in order? So you can think about getting your life in order. Don't wait until you're terminal and there's no turning around. Don't get to that point. Do it while you have a chance, and that way there's peace. I'm all about peace. I want a peaceful life. I live a peaceful existence. There's things I'm still trying to get in order, but that's because I got a late start. So I want to share these things with you so you can get an earlier start and hopefully be able to make some better decisions than I did. So the first thing I want to do is, I always like to start with encouragement. I start and end with encouragement because, you know, a good word or a positive word helps people to feel better. And, I have to ask for God's wisdom and God's help to do every one of these podcasts because I'm not a professional. I'm just a normal person. And I get really nervous and I make a lot of mistakes in my podcast, but I hope the message gets through and that people are blessed. So, one of the references I like to use is Bible Gateway because I can just pull up any scripture, but I want to share this with you. James 1:5. It's in the New Testament, and I typically like to use the King James Version, but just for the sake of where my settings are, I'm going to use the New International Version. They're both good. And in James 1:5 reads, "If any of you lack wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. So, anytime you start an endeavor or pursue any area of your life where you're trying to do something that you may think in your own strength is hard, you should pray and ask God for wisdom. He will give you wisdom. All you have to do is ask. Now, to gain wisdom, you have to go through experiences. So know that. But don't feel like you're being punished or anything like that. It's just, we have to learn. And the way you gain wisdom is by gaining knowledge. So I'm going to share this with you as well. So I've kind of just jotted out a disclaimer due to the information that I'm going to share with you. So I want you to know that I am not, that's what I call them. So I am not a licensed insurance agent. I am not an accountant. I am not a tax preparer. I'm not a physician or medical professional. I'm not an HR specialist. I'm not a car salesman. I'm nothing. None of those things apply. I'm just sharing my own experiences. I'm not giving you any advice because every state has different laws and different regulations that they're governed by. So you need to make sure that in your state, you follow the rules and regulations for your state. I have, my allergies are just off the charts. So I'm sorry. If you see me dabbing my eyes, that's because my allergy medicine has not kicked in yet. So this morning I could hardly talk. So love these allergies, but it's okay. It's okay. So remember that it's your responsibility to seek out uh, the professionals in the areas that I'm going to be speaking on today. Again, because every state really is different. And it's amazing. You would be amazed. You think that everything's the same, but it's not. Sometimes you can go from county to county and the regulations are different. So just be very diligent in organizing your business and making sure that you follow the regulations. That's very important. I'll probably say that 2 or 3 times. So, considering life insurance, I wish when I was younger, I really took life insurance seriously. I had life insurance several times throughout my younger life through jobs and things like that. But I didn't realize the asset that a life insurance policy is. So, um, for example, I'm going to give you an example. So, say you have a $500,000 life insurance policy. Now, you can either have private insurance, which means you purchased it yourself, or you can have insurance through your employer if that's a benefit that they offer. So, now we'll talk first about private insurance, which is insurance that you purchased on your own and your name is on it. If you purchase life insurance, you want to make sure that you have the advanced death benefit clause in your life insurance. It's a true benefit. It's true to its word. Also, you want to make sure that your life insurance policy has a certificate. And if you don't know what a certificate is for a life insurance policy, just ask your agent. Or, yeah, that's the best thing to do is just ask your agent. I will always point you back to the professional that you need to talk to. So, an advanced death benefit is such a good benefit. So, depending on the state that you live in, your health condition has to be verified by a physician, and depending upon the insurance carrier, your physician has to let the insurance company know if you have either 12 months or 24 months of life remaining, your life expectancy. You want to continue to pay your premium on your insurance policy if you enact your advanced death benefit. So, if you have an insurance policy that is $500,000, depending upon your state and depending upon the type of policy and the regulations that govern your policy, you can get up to 50% of the face value of your life insurance policy. So if you have a $500,000 policy and your doctor says that you have 12 months or less to live, this is an example I'm giving you. You can request from your insurance carrier to enact your advanced death benefit, and they will send you a packet and it will explain everything that you need to do to enact the advanced death benefit. Once all of that information is completed, they will send you a check, I believe. It depends on the state, a check or a direct deposit. Now, it solely depends on the insurance carrier, how they manage, and the state. So just check that as one thing that you would want to check on. Life insurance policy, see if you have the advanced death benefit on the policy. It has to be written in when you purchase the policy. I do not believe you can go back and add to a life insurance policy once it is written. But again, that's where you would want to talk to your agent to see if you can have an amendment. I don't know, so that's check. Something else to put on your list to check concerning your life insurance policy. Basically, just talk to your agent and ask your agent any questions concerning your life insurance policy and how it really benefits you. Most people don't even understand what their life insurance policy covers. Most people don't even read their policy. And I know this is a fact because when I was working, that's the kind of work that I was doing. So I was talking with people about their life insurance policies, and I found out that they knew nothing about their policies. So it's a huge advantage, number one, if you have private life insurance. Number two, it's a huge advantage to have an insurance agent that you can call at any time and say, hey, I've got a question, and they'll answer it for you. It's just that simple. And this is the reason why in the beginning of my podcast, when I was starting, I was telling you to make sure you have access to your patient portal and always keep track of all of your medical records. Because if you do go down an avenue where you need to pull your advanced death benefit on your life insurance policy, you need to have access to your medical records, because most likely your life insurance policy, as part of their processing, will need to know up to 5 years of your past medical history. Now, you might be saying, oh my God, who has 5 years of their past medical history? I do, because I have access to all of my patient portals. So don't take it lightly. It's extremely important. And if you find yourself in a position where you are diagnosed with a terminal illness and your health is quickly declining, you're going to need some help. So, now remember, best case scenario is to make sure you have life insurance before you get sick. No one ever knows when they're going to get sick. I didn't know. I just went for a routine mammogram and my whole life changed. So no one ever knows. And I'm not a tax professional. So you want to check with either your tax preparer or your accountant on how an advanced death benefit distribution would affect your taxes and how it will affect your financial life. So that's a big one that you would want to check off or put on your checklist to get checked off. When my father passed away, it was so traumatic for us that it was hard to think at that point on all of these things. We had to make so many arrangements and try to take care of our mother and try to make sure things were in order. It's just horrible on the family if everything just falls on the family and you've passed away. So be kind to your family and do these things now. And that way you have peace. That way you know that everything is in order. Okay, so now remember, I'm not an HR specialist for any company. Again, these are just things I've learned along the way. So if you are still employed and your company offers you benefits and you have life insurance through your employer, you want to talk to your HR representative and find out who you would need to talk to about your insurance and find out, things like, can you have access to that policy if you leave the company? A lot of people don't really know that you can actually, if it's written that way and you can take that policy with you, it's definitely to your advantage to do that. That way you don't have to hunt up insurance companies or hunt up, go through the process of comparing insurance companies and see who's got the best rates, and et cetera, because it's a daunting task. But if you have insurance through your company, just talk to your HR person. They'll point you to the insurance carrier who will answer your questions about your policy. The only time you really probably would want to get private insurance is if you have no insurance at all. So don't take it lightly. Life insurance is literally a lifesaver. We have auto insurance. We pay for it every month. How many times do we actually use it? Right? So, you know, it's better to have it than and not use it than to not have it and need it. So, another great benefit to consider if you're employed is short and long term disability. It's like minuscule amounts that come out of your paycheck to pay for long term and short term disability. You don't even miss it. But boy, is it worth it. Because if you get sick, if you have to have surgery, if you have a pregnancy, you get have to be off for a pregnancy. If there's different guidelines that fall under your short and long term disabilities. Again, talk to your HR person, get your handbook that goes along with your short and long term disability, know who the insurance carrier is, ask questions, know what your benefits are. It's amazing. I never did. In all the years that I worked, I never did know what short term and long term disability really was about because it didn't matter. I didn't really need it. I just had it. I just got it because it was part of my benefit. And I'm so glad that I did because it makes a huge difference if you can't work for a short amount of time or a long amount of time. It just depends. Again, different states, different insurance companies ask questions. So put that on your list. Talk to HR about your benefits, short term, long term disability, your life insurance. Um, and then if you don't have life insurance, look into speaking to an agent about getting private life insurance. Check all on your list. Because once you're diagnosed with cancer, it's very difficult to get insurance. Um, my experience was when I was working, I could not increase my insurance. It's like whatever insurance I had, that was it. I couldn't get any more. I couldn't buy new life insurance policies of any high dollar value. What are you going to do with five or $10,000? When it comes to life insurance policy, you need it's designed to cover basically your salary. So, you know, what am I going to do with $5 or $10,000? That doesn't even cover the funeral. So, why put yourself in that position if you are not ill at all? Do these things quickly so you have them in place. If you have been diagnosed with cancer or any type of chronic illness, um, start asking questions. See what options are still available to you. Like I said, I'm not any of these professionals, so I can't give you the answers. I'm just trying to point you in the direction of that may help you because these are things that I had to experience, and I've had many headaches over trying to work these things out in my life. So, another savings plan, if your job offers you any type of 401k, any type of savings plans, if you're still healthy and able to make contributions to those every pay period, do that. I did do. I'm big on 401ks, so I've done that consistently. So, depending upon your employer, they may have not only a 401k, they may have other types of saving programs. Whatever they offer, look into it and then see how it fits in your budget and then get it. Because I'm telling you, once you become ill, it's so difficult to do these things. Your options close in on you. You lose a whole lot of options. And I'm extremely fortunate that just because I saw what my father went through, and what we had to deal with after he passed away from cancer, I learned. I learned, never in my life would I have purchased a cancer policy through my job because it was offered. It was just one of the benefits. That benefit package covered life insurance, hospital indemnity, um, accidental insurance. Um, what else? So many. Oh, cancer, a cancer insurance policy. Get it, get it. Because you never know when you're going to be diagnosed, when you're just going to go for a routine mammogram or a routine checkup for any type of preventative care. You never know when you're going to be ill. And I didn't know when I was going to be ill and what was going to happen to my life. But I'm so grateful that I had those policies. And I want to go back to another scripture to share with you, because wisdom, again, wisdom makes all the difference in the world. And that's what I'm sharing with you right now. And this is from Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13 through 18. Again, Proverbs is called the book of wisdom. It's in the Old Testament. So this particular scripture reads, "Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding. For," now she is in reference to wisdom, "for she is more profitable than silver and yields better than gold. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all of her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. Those who hold her fast will be blessed." So, again, wisdom. What I'm sharing with you today is wisdom. So, you hear what the scriptures have to say about wisdom. Remember, seek professionals in your state and in your area for advice on these topics that I'm giving you. I'm not a professional. I do not claim to be a professional in any of these areas. I'm just sharing my own personal experiences and sharing, where I could have done better in preparing for living with cancer, but did not know that that was going to be my outcome. No one ever knows. You just wake up one day and your life has changed. It's just that simple. So the next area is end of life care. So this is an area I know people really don't like to talk about, but it is extremely important that you have an end of life plan and you communicate that plan with your family. Okay, so under end of life care, it takes the burden off of your family. Everybody knows what your wishes are. You've been spending time getting your business in order, so everything is in order, and it makes the process so much easier, because it's already hard to lose a family member, and to try to think and process and figure things out at that time is just difficult. So, advanced care plans. Okay, so every state has advanced care plans. So, if you ask your doctor, they'll probably just give you a packet with everything in it that you need. Supportive care, which is palliative care and pain management, which I'm in now. And I I use palliative care because palliative care guides you to different resources that help you, especially when you're physically impaired. My cancer has, since it's in my bones, it wreaks havoc in my body. So I need help and I need resources. So when I need to be pointed in a direction, I contact them. So I do the same thing I'm telling you to do. Pain management is just that, to help me manage the pain. They are very strict, they have very staunch guidelines, but it's worth it, because for cancer, for a lot of people, is extremely painful. And so pain management is a huge benefit. Hospice care is truly end of life care. That is when your doctor has made the decision and discussed it with you that, you're getting close to the end of your life. So it's time for you to make some even more difficult decisions. So, hospice care is vast, and I just would say research it in your state, in your area, and see where you fall in when it comes to hospice care. A living will. Whenever you go to the hospital or to a doctor, they ask you, do you have a living will? They want to know that, do you have someone who they can call on if um, you have a medical condition that is emergent. So, living will is extremely important. And that's going to show who your medical proxy is. So decide who you want your medical proxy to be, and then make sure you talk to that person and have them fill out the paperwork with you. It's just a few forms to sign, but that gives that person the authority to make decisions on your behalf. And DNR, you've probably heard that before. DNR, do not resuscitate order. I personally have a DNR because in my condition, I do not want to be resuscitated. Because since cancer is in my bones, the resuscitation process would probably break a lot of my bones and probably cause more damage. I'm not a physician, but I've already had 2 broken ribs just from uh, living life with cancer. So, and I've already had a back surgery. So, we never know what's going to happen. So we have to have our life in order. And then funeral arrangements. If you can make funeral arrangements ahead of time, do it, because it is so difficult to make funeral arrangements after the person passes away, especially if it's suddenly. Whatever you can do ahead of time, do it. Banking and credit cards. If you have, if like say you're opening a new credit card, they give you an option, and it's a disability option. Literally, if you go on disability, they will cover your payments for 6 months. Take it. It probably costs like $1 a month fee or something like that, maybe $2, depending upon the credit card, but it is so worth it, because if you get disabled or you are like me, you just have terminal cancer, your whole life has changed, you know, I'm stuck with, well, I've paid off a lot of my debt, thank God, but it was hard, because I'm struggling. I had to do without to because I didn't want to have that debt or leave that debt for my family. So I had to struggle and pay it off. I didn't want it. Um, Lingering. And same thing with bank accounts. So bank accounts, you can actually have a beneficiary on your bank account. So you want to contact your bank and find out what you would have to do to get, what is it called? A durable power of attorney on your bank accounts, so your family has access to your accounts, like whoever you choose to have that access. Otherwise, your family can't have access to any of your funds, your savings, nothing. It just, I don't know what happens to it, but, and I don't want to know, because that's why I have a beneficiary on my account and durable power of attorney, so I can make sure that whatever's in my accounts goes to my family and not back to the bank. because it's not their money. It's my family's money. So, you know, we have to think of these things. So I know I covered a lot, and this is just the start. There's so many other things. There's your automobile, your mortgage, if you have student loans. I mean, there's just so many areas you need to start looking at, how you can manage these things before you get to the point of stage 4 terminal cancer, and things can't turn around. So I know God is able. My faith is in God, but I also have to be realistic as well. Whatever God chooses to do with my life, whether I stay here or whether I don't, I still need to have my business in order. And I'm here to encourage you to get your business in order, get your life together. So before we end, I want to do my read me win, because this is a lot of information to take in. You might have to watch this podcast a couple of times. So I'm gonna grab us a read me win, and um, I hope it benefits someone. So please remember to like, to share, follow, subscribe this podcast, please, because this is, I feel, valid information that needs to be shared and can help someone. If you don't think it helps you, well, share this with someone else. It may help. But our scripture today says, splendor and majesty are before him. Strength and joy are in his dwelling place. 1 Chronicles 16:27. That's a beautiful scripture. Splendor and majesty are before him. Strength and joy are in his dwelling place. So we can have strength and joy in God's dwelling place when we get our lives together. When we have all our business in order, and we can have peace and go home quietly. So I want to thank you for listening to the Cancer Cipher Sharon Speaks. I hope and I pray that this lesson and this sharing of my story and my experiences helps in some manner. And I just hope that, it makes a difference. And I hope that you really think about some of the things that we've talked about. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, subscribe. If you have questions, hit my email, SharonYB4000@gmail.com. Remember, I'm not a professional for any of the areas I talked about. For your state, your area, reach out to your professionals and get those answers. Until then, until we see each other again, have a blessed day.